Okay, so we are going to start with a fun icebreaker. So you can say it out loud or you can say it in the chat, but what is one song or like jingle or something that like gets stuck in your head all the time? An example for me, unfortunately, is definitely Bedrock by Lil Wayne. Constantly gets stuck in my head. So feel free to say it out loud or put it in the chat.
I'm a whistler and I whistle like I've been whistling like the same thing. And one of the things I whistle all the time is the Scarecrow If I Only Had a Brain from Wizard of Oz for no reason at all. Just I'll ride my bike and I'll just start to whistle, and that happens to be what I whistle. And I also don't know the whole song, so it's just like if I only had a brain over and over and over.
Oh no.
I've got two. It's Jetta, Take It Easy, and then the I forgot what the hell is their name? The Lannisters, like their clan song from Game of Thrones. It's always stuck in my head. And now the rains that
Nice. Good Life, Kanye West, that's a good one. Oh, the Wii theme. Good job, Karina. Great job. I feel like Gold Digger also sometimes gets stuck in my head. All right. If anyone else has to share,
no one's gonna do like
chat.
the Feltco Blinds or the Stanley Steamer theme song. These are all like nice. Willie said staying alive.
Oh, I feel like the only jingle is like save big money at Menards.
Oh my god, the Midwest theme song? Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's get it started. That was funny. Okay, we are going to be talking about data literacy part uno. Okay, so the learning outcomes for today, hopefully, is that we understand the scope of the data expectations for 21st century and ASN Engage. You're able to navigate the various data containers in the systems that we have set up for you all, and then feel confident in the continuous improvement process and the role site coordinators play in that. So just really making sure that everyone is feeling supported and feels like their program is growing continuously. I'm not going to say that potentially towards the end there's going to be a game in which you have to answer questions, but I'm not saying that. So just pay attention if you want to win. All right, so agenda, we're going to do a little bit of data refresher and continuous improvement. Then we're going to take a break. Then we're going to talk about really navigating the data. Where do these things lie? Then we're going to do the data container game and then do a little review and reflection. Okay, so there are pretty much 3 different categories data falls into when we are thinking about ASN Engage. So the first one is ongoing debate, like things that are happening constantly, like that. For an example, like attendance. Attendance is always happening. Periodic, which is like quarterly or monthly or anything that you can do by time. And then last, but certainly not least, the year-end data. So all the like student data we get at the end of the year that we have to use for not only the grant, but also like evaluation and all of that stuff. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth with each category and then get some examples and questions. Okay, so obviously ongoing is things that are happening all the time. So like weekly check-ins, attendance, timesheets, things that you guys are doing regularly. So I know in the last PD we talked about communications, especially internal communications. So since then, has anyone used any new methods to better manage like attendance from their instructors or anything like that? Or does anyone have an example on how they make sure their attendance is in on time?
What I will say is I'm kind of want to kind of take ownership of it. I kind of still overly manage it a little bit. So I still put my attendance in simply because my groups aren't that large yet. And it still gives me an opportunity to connect with the students and the instructors. And it still gives me an opportunity to hold them accountable in regards to making sure that the group's starting on time, that people are engaged, that, you know, that I want it to be a lax environment, but not too lax to the point to where if someone were to pop in, that it would be almost like, hey, what's going on over there, sort of a thing. So, and it just, you know, it allows me to still have, you know, to kind of have a pulse on it. Obviously, at times I'll shoot out an email like, hey, make sure you guys put your attendance in, but 95% of the time I'm going to put it in just because it allows me to stay on top of things and allows me to still hold myself accountable with making sure that I know what's going on with each of the groups. So I don't know if that's the best way, but kind of been working for me.
Different things work for different people.
Has anybody had like a kind of like an opposite strategy where that's worked for them, where they have instructors manage their own attendance that they found successful or challenges?
Okay, looks like we're all putting attendance in, which is maybe something to think about for next year, getting your instructors really comfortable in CitySpan, because that will take like a lot of time, work that takes a lot of time off of you.
Yeah, I am actually curious, if you don't mind indulging us, on like kind of like in your reactions in a show of hands, how many of you have like do your attendance for your instructors? 50-50.
My virtual clubs do their own, and I do in-person clubs. I didn't really know, and then it was too late. So yeah, basically our virtual club people were all like, oh yeah, no problem, we get this. And because it, like, you know, how things got thrown in, it was like I didn't know, and then I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna keep doing it now. So I most definitely wouldn't do it next time.
Good to hear. All right. The next category, I guess, of data is periodic. So thinking about things like the quarterly check-ins that we do when we give you guys the APR reports and we check in to see like how things are going. And the biweeklies can be seen as periodic because you know that they happen at the same time, X amount of times. Or like when you have visitors, like or your parent events, or like things that happen periodically. So what is one way you guys utilize the calendar? Or if you don't, like how do you guys organize when surveys have to go out?
I'll go. I pop into a lot of the groups. So like during class when we were virtual, I would just pop into classes, especially to the students that were signed up for the groups, and I would post them in the chat boxes to make students, you know, reply, sort of a thing. And then we would have like little incentives and stuff. Like I would do like a random little gift card or something that we had at school for the first 10 students to get it back, or whatever the case may be. Just little things to try to keep them engaged and make sure that their parents would do, you know, to make sure that their parents were replying back. And whenever we had parent events, I would always put it like in a group chat so that parents could fill them out and we can get the responses back immediately. And if someone did it early, I would try to offer like extra credit points, just little things like that to kind of keep them, you know, keep them engaged as much as possible.
Nice. Does anyone give out like a calendar at the beginning of the year to their instructors about like when surveys will be? Wondering. I see some head nods. Yeah, so that's just like one thing to think about for next year, just putting or like having a calendar and using it, and then also just putting all of the things that are going to be happening in there. so people can like look ahead, and also like if they look at the calendar, like, oh, surveys are due on Friday, and they don't have to like come and ask you. All right, our last bucket is the year end. So though that's all the information that we get from the end of the year, like the GPAs, how many days of attendance, the behavior reports, all of that. And that's really important because we use that for the evaluation, and the evaluation then goes to the state, and that's all of this is just tied up into like the, not only the grant, but just to be like, okay, your programs are doing well, you're going to keep getting money, good job, keep doing what you're doing. Or they're like, oh, we see there's stuff going on, like someone from the state might come, talk to us, ask questions like, why isn't this program have any kids, and things like that. So it's really important to have all of those things done at the end of the year. So we just finished the end of the year. So I was wondering how end of year data collection went for people. Did they have any challenges? Was it easy? Are there things you want to change next year? Do you need to get a better relationship with the registrar, etc.?
I would just say, generally speaking, the calendar is a good idea, just to let people know and like it be a constant reminder. And then, yeah, we do. That was kind of the hard part, is our data team had transitioned, and so it was like scrambling to get the information from different people. But we have like a lot more people that are aware of the fact that our data team was like the only people that knew how to do everything. So now they're like, wait, we need to make sure that a whole bunch of people know how to do this. So I think things will be easier moving forward. And then, yeah, just to remind people ahead of time and just explain like the importance that this is like grant funding. This isn't like I'm being annoying and I want you to do this. This is like the way we provide all this programming, which is a big reason why people come to our school, is based on this information.
Yeah, that is a good insight, that when only the data team knows how to get data, it's difficult, especially if people leave or go on maternity leave and things like that. You're like, oh no, no one knows how to do this.
I'm glad to hear that a lot of people have been having the same challenges that I had. I thought because I was a newcomer, I was the only one having all of these challenges with getting the data, but I found out that I wasn't the only one. It was difficult because very few people knew how to get the data, where to get the data, and everyone was scrambling. And finally, we found out, okay, the person that controls the data is not there. So it was just chaotic. I guess formulating, as was just stated, formulating relationships and, getting information out in a timely manner, reminding them of same thing, that this is a grant funded program. So I'm just taking everything in, and all of this is helping me moving forward on what I need to do to build team relationships, to make these things happen and make my job much easier, because I tell you, it was just like pulling teeth, not knowing what to do, who to go to. And I believe I was just wearing Karina's ears off because it was just crazy. And I know, I just want to tell you, thank you for your help. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I feel like, to Deshawn and Kelsey's point, hopefully everyone, I know this is a small but mighty group, hopefully everyone kind of sees a through line here from our communication PDs as well. Like you guys both just said, a lot of it has to do with sharing knowledge and building relationships and making sure that the communication goes across the board, so that when the year-end data local evaluation comes up, or when you need your day-to-day teacher attendance, right? Those are things that you can call upon your community to help support you with. And hopefully that's something that we're trying to kind of hammer in here as a through line. And, it's starting to kind of, come as a bit of a theme for our PDs this summer?
And I was going to say, my goal was to try to make it common language to where it wasn't like the end of a year, like boom for everybody, where it's like this big thing. Because obviously we know at the end of the year, everyone needs data for a bunch of different things. But the kind of, as you guys were sending things out, I was sharing it to where it was like, hey, we need this data. You know, it's not a me thing. It's more of a we thing. You know, ASN is a part of our school and our program. So for everything that we have going on, hey, this is data that we need. So it's just not something that I have to do to turn in this data. It's something that we have to do that benefits our students. That gives us an opportunity for things that we always complained about not being able to have. Now we hear we need this data. So, you know, and I kind of were using calendar invites after with the data submission tools. I was kind of able to look through the list and kind of break down, hey, let's get 3 students done a week or 4 students done a week. So that way, by the time it was time for us to have it in, you know, it gave me a few weeks to where if there were any mistakes, once I submitted it, I was kind of able to go back and kind of add some things in. And I did miss some things with going through it. There were a few things where Karina was, hey, you know, it's this information, or hey, you missed a few of these, or whatever the case. And I was able to kind of go back to do it. But just to kind of start that process a little bit earlier. You know, I feel like as soon as I felt like it was time to wind down in regards to programming a little bit, it was time to rev up for data, you know, so that kind of worked for me.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion and idea that as program is going, everyone's comfortable with what's going on, then it's like, okay, you'd have less of a focus on trying to manage the day-to-day of the programming and thinking about how to get that data. That's a really good suggestion, Juan. Okay, we are now going to move on to the continuous improvement part. Okay, so why did it not work? Yeah, so we really want to hit home for everyone that we are committed to you all and being there for you to support you, to make sure your programs are going well. If you're having issues, to be catching those sooner rather than later, and really having you guys expect from us that we will be standing with you and partnering. And then also for us, like understanding that like when we need to meet, like people are going to be available to do those things. So when we think about continuous improvement, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we have been doing, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things we're going to be doing moving forward starting in the fall. So some of the examples of the things that we have been doing, so thinking about those quarterly snapshots, those things every quarter just to see how you guys are doing. The bi-weeklies, and anytime we have those bi-weeklies and questions come up, or sometimes people don't understand something, we take that information and then we're like, okay, so a lot of people are having issue with this XYZ. So we're like, okay, now we know that maybe we should have a training around it, or we need to be more clear, or there's something not connecting with the site coordinators. And then thinking about like your day-to-day. So like when you talk to Corey or Karina or me on the phone, or like respond to an email, like that's us knowing like how things are going with you guys. And then also like the website is a place that you can look for like tools and resources that you need. Another thing is like the newsletter. Like it's a nice way for you guys to see what's going on with your fellow site coordinators. And if someone has a group that you're interested in starting, you can like email them and say, hey, I saw you have a really cool gardening club. Like, let's see if we can have that at our school. Or if it's something that you also do and you see like, hey, like they did this thing, we've never thought about doing it that way. So those are all the things that we are currently doing just to make sure that, you know, we're all on track, making sure programs going as smoothly as possible. Moving forward to next year, we're gonna do with your program managers like me, Karina, and Corey, have weekly check-ins with each site coordinator. They're not gonna all be the same days or times. Obviously, you're gonna work with your program manager to pick the best time for you, but they're gonna be like 15 to 30-minute check-ins just to see where things are, making sure you know what's coming up. If you have any issues, nipping that in the bud. as quickly as possible. So we're not in like week 8 and you're like, oh, I still have no students. It's like, oh, like after 2 weeks, you're like, hey, let's make a plan because we still don't have any students. What should we do? And just being proactive instead of reactive. And I feel like 1, that will help us, and 2, it'll help you all feeling supported and knowing like what's going on, especially because let's be honest, sometimes emails are long and you don't read every email. So it's like, if you're having a conversation with someone like, hey, like, just don't forget on Friday, the surveys due on, like, make sure your attendance is in, I feel like is an easier way to off put that, because reading information is not everyone's best learning language. So yeah, does anyone have any questions about that? What's going to look like, if there's any suggestions of how you want that time to look, etc.
Does everyone remember what the quarterly one-on-ones were? I know that was a while ago.
Oh, no questions? Everyone gets it? Great.
Any comments or thoughts in general? I know, this kind of looks just like just a recap of what we typically do, but we just want to, great, worked well. Okay. Yeah, we're trying to really listen from all of these points about things that are working and things that are not, just like Badaftu said. And we just really want to, make sure that we reiterate our commitment to not only using that data just for, the grant requirements, yes, you need to do this, you need to complete certain things that are not so fun and kind of a little probably irritating to your site instructors, right? But those are things that, hopefully not only we can use for continuous improvement, but you guys can as well. So, yeah.
Okay. It looks like it's 2:27. So we're going to have a little break. If everyone could come back at 2:37, that would be awesome. So yeah, grab some water, grab a snack, do your thing.
See if I can share this. Oh, it says I can't share my audio. While someone's sharing the screen.
That's okay. I mean, you know what? You can do it for the next PDU that you run. It'll be easier. I'm sure everyone's just walking around getting water and stuff anyway. All right. See you in 10.
Everyone is back. So let's get back on track. Okay. So we just covered continuous improvement and then what kind of data and like the category it falls in. Now we're going to talk about where all this data goes, where you put it, where it would be if you needed it. So there are pretty much 3 main data containers that we all use. So there's Cityspan, there's Jotform, and then there is your Google folders. So Cityspan, I feel like most people are pretty familiar with. We've been using it all year. You know what goes in there: attendance, staffing, student registration, all of that jazz. Just in case we would like a little refresher, if we're at a site and they're like, hey, let's look at the activities, then we want to see what's going on with them, and they're like, hey, I want to see what my goat yoga class is doing. You do a little bam bam, see the attendance, and there it would be. So that one's pretty straightforward. Everyone knows pretty much how Cityspan works. Jot form is where our student registration forms are. And you need the student registration form so then you can input students into CitySpan. And I know that people are like, well, if we're doing student registration, then why do we have to put their stuff in CitySpan again? And let me tell you why you have to do that. So on this registration form, it has the basics, things like name, address, all that jazz. But once you go towards the bottom of the registration form, you have all of this, the parent and student agreements. And these are basically checklistings, record release, so we can get their data. And when students don't fill this section out, we can't count them as a participant in the program because we're not allowed to get their data. So it's really important that students do student registration forms so that we are able to get data on them and say that they're in our program. So it might seem like, oh, you just have to put it in CitySpan and here, and it's like, one thing to look forward to for the fall is CitySpan is going to have an upload tool. So you can just have, like, if you have an Excel of the students, like you can just pull it off Aspen or something and then delete the students who aren't in the program. And then you can just upload the whole Excel. Obviously, we're going to talk about like how to use the tool closer to the beginning of the year and make sure that everyone knows how to use it. But that's one way that we hope that it will be easier to put in CitySpan data instead of putting every student in on your own. Also, there is going to be an ASN handbook that you're going to learn more about and get to see it actually in the part 2 of the data training. And we really hope that this handbook is something that you guys can see as like your holy grail. Like, you need something, it will be in there. Like, you don't know where something is, you don't know how to open this link, you don't remember what day a survey is due, all that information is going to be in the handbook. And it's really going to be your little guiding light. Lastly, I know a lot of times people are like, oh, site folders. So we're going to just talk about what the site folders are. They have a new look to them. You may see if you are using them regularly. If not, get ready to start using them on the regular starting in the fall. So I'm gonna use one of my sites as an example. I'll use Westtown. Okay, so everyone has their 21st century folders. All of the folders have this. So you have your parent event. So anytime you have a parent event, you put that information in here. You have your student data tool. That's that Excel that we use to collect some of the end of the year data. Then all the surveys that you have to do are going to be in here. And then this is like qualitative artifacts, so like pictures, flyers, things of that nature. And then your after school proposals will also be in this folder. This folder, people might be like, what's site monitoring visit? So every year the state just randomly chooses one of your sites to come and just visit. And they have all this documentation that they want from the site. And then they come in person and watch multiple different clubs. So to make sure that everyone is ready for that, and because it's just a compliance piece of the program, we made sure that we had the site monitoring visit folders in your folders. Why did that just do that?
It's a function of copying the nested folders. So some of the sites, if you didn't delete it, it has a duplicate site monitoring visit folder. Just click it again. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, that was weird. Okay, so there are lots of folders nested in here. I'll open, hey, let's open A.
And don't be
So in each
intimidated by these. Sorry, but after, don't be intimidated. We will do these in chunks. We don't expect you to automatically do
have
them
all
now.
this, yeah, I'll have all this information. But an example, it's like in this folder, you would put your organization chart. In this folder, you put your staff roster. So these are things that you can be putting in throughout the year. Some of the things will be things you already have. So like, what is your school's fire emergency plan or something? It's like all schools have that. You just get a copy of that, put it in the folder. So it does kind of look like a lot of stuff, but I assure you that most of the things should be things you already have or things that your school can easily provide for you. And this is the full list of what are all the things that need to be put in these folders. So if you don't want to look at it in the folder view, you just want to look in a large list, this is also a way to look at that. Okay, does anyone have any question about site visit or site monitoring visit and this folder? Does anyone
I
have
have
any
a
questions?
question for the parent event folder. What do you want in that? Does that mean like the sign-in sheets? Does it mean photos?
Yeah, so photos can go in your qualitative artifact folders, and parent events, yeah, you can have your signatures, and or if you use that like Excel template, you can put that in here too.
Yeah, I think all the parent event folders, it can kind of be your catch-all, Marie. We just wanted to give you guys kind of like a foundational, like skeletal nested folder system. Obviously, these are yours to kind of do what you want with them. If there's additional information you want to put in there, if you want to kind of reorganize a little bit, so long as we can also navigate it and find what we need to find, you know, it's kind of yours to make what you want of it. If you feel like it's better to put all the parent event stuff in only the parent events folder, do that. But yeah, it's exactly what you're probably thinking. Your kind of your sign-in sheets, your flyers, stuff like that.
Yeah, and yeah, we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable making it their own. So if you're like, I also want a folder in here for something else that you have to collect for students or something like that, you can also put that in here.
Hopefully the most helpful thing immediately for you in prep for the fall is the surveys folder. We made quick links. I know it's been a little bit of a challenge sometimes to navigate the different Google forms that we have for the different surveys. And we went ahead and quick linked them all into this folder. So you should all be able to kind of go to your own folders and see exactly what you're going to need going forward. And then in terms of resources and like those parent event tools and stuff, that should still also all still be in the handbook and also the website, which, you know, we forgot to mention, but you know, that still exists and has everything current. It just depends on kind of what your preference is for getting those resources. But we want to make sure that it's kind of in all places. So, you know, everywhere you turn, you've got what you need.
Yeehaw. All right, before we move on, does anyone have any questions about Jotform or CitySpan? Or if we still have questions around the folders? Okay, no questions. We are gonna then move into our main event. We're gonna play a Kahoot game. Hope you've been paying attention, because everything we've talked about is gonna be in the game. So I'm going to, so if everyone can go to kahoot.it on your phone or on your computer, I will put the game pin on the screen and we'll get to getting. Play.
I'm sure everyone was just dying to play a Kahoot game today. Don't worry, we've got you covered.
Kahoot music is always in my head too.
Oh, there you go. It's the Kahoot song. We're making it worse.
All right, we're loading the game pin.
Yeah, but Dafty, do you have the computer sound shared?
So loading. Why is it taking so long? If I close the PowerPoint, it'll make it go faster.
Maybe a quick refresh.
All right. Yeah, let's do a refresh.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Why did all of a sudden my sound get weird? Oh no, am I frozen?
You're not frozen. I don't know if the screen is, but it's typical. Only technical issues reserved for actual important meetings.
I can't hear anything you're saying. It sounds like robot voices.
Yeah, you might need
What
to.
the heck is going on with my computer? I might just get on my phone.
Yeah, but after, if you want, I can share the Kahoot, or we can, I don't have your login information, but maybe that might work. Game pin. We haven't had that yet. It's loading.
Okay. I think it's moving normally.
Avert your eyes. Avert your eyes. Nobody look.
I don't think that's gonna affect that because I don't know what the answers are yet. Okay, now this better work. What other apps are open?
Really quickly, I guess I'll use this opportunity to ask, has everybody had a chance to look at the website? I know this is kind of like a tertiary thing. Does everyone have like the sign in information? If you don't, or you just don't remember it, or no shame, never really checked it out, can you just send me an email? I'll pop my email in the chat again. Just send me an email and I'll go ahead and create a login for anybody who needs it, or resend the login. You will be, if it's a new account, you will be getting an email from our IT person. So it'll either be from like ASN IT or Suzette Hernandez. And they'll be creating an account because it's through our website. For the most part, most of the website is navigated without logins, but since we have some like tools and resources that are private, we require a login. So go ahead and send an email if you don't have it or if you lost it.
Okay, I don't know why my computer is being weird all of a sudden. But hopefully this will just fine. I told her to close applications, and I'm like, there's literally only the internet open and Zoom.
Well, we'll give it a third time as a charm, and if not, then we can. We can always continue discussion.
Hallelujah.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
We should fly through this game anyway, because obviously you all know the answers to every question immediately. So,
All right, I think we have a few more people that need to be let in, and then we can start.
Hey, can I ask a question really quick?
absolutely.
Mhm.
So for the website that you're referring to, you're just talking about asn.asnchicago.org, right?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a link to the Google folder on there or no?
No, because they're all independent. You all have your own Google folder. So that's kind of like the challenge. Like a lot of the resources, like the tools and the stuff that we put in the Google folder, a lot of those are redundant in terms of like what's on the site. But Google Forms, obviously, we can't put all the Google Forms for each site because you all have independent forms. But yeah.
All right, it seems that everyone is in. Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, let's start. All right, let's go.
This is like an actual test. It's very serious. I feel
Woo! Oh, Kelsey coming up.
I didn't click fast enough. I like was reading it over
Yeah.
and then the time ran out and I was like, with the first
Happened to me
one. So
twice.
Yeah, I better hurry up and click faster.
it's all about speed, everyone. It's all about speed.
It really actually is. Oh, a lot of people thought 5. Well, it is 3 buckets. Okay, we got some
All right, Willie.
moving.
Where do parent events go? I'm gonna start reading these questions out, just for the sake of some people who might be on their phones while they're
Oh.
driving. Where- Y'all better not be picking, email them to Karina.
Woo!
I don't like
all
that
right.
joke, but I have to.
Well, you're not gonna like the other ones then.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Okay, Willie has 4 correct answers in a row. Let's go.
Ah.
All right, just 1 second left.
The best one.
Jot form, yeah. Okay, it's tight race.
Where can you find the onboarding package?
I'm picking it.
I mean, it's probably also correct, I guess.
Oh, it's a trick question. 2 answers are right. Yeah. You can find the onboarding package in the handbook and then also on the website. Oh, we got some new people up in the lead.
I feel like Marie's just waiting until the end, just kind of like, you know. Where are the activity proposals?
Nice. Oh, Karina's folder got some likes.
It's also not wrong, I guess. Where are you trolls? What kind of category does a timesheet fall into?
Only 4 seconds left. Okay, yes. So we see that a couple people said periodic. Timesheets happen constantly, they're ongoing.
I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a kind of a tricky question. It's every 2 weeks, so it is bi-weekly.
That is-
Half correct, I guess.
that's
However you
good.
want to call it.
Half credit.
Where does the student data tool go?
Mm.
Okay. Okay, this is interesting. So that's the student data tool goes in the ASN site folder. It is that Excel sheet that you guys got towards the end of the school year that had like the GPAs and like the behavior stuff. So that's the student data tool is. Oh, we got a new leader.
Where can you find the student surveys?
Jeez.
Two seconds left. Correct. The surveys are in your site folders. They are all Google Forms. Jot forms are the student registration forms. Oh, we got some movement.
See what I'm saying? I tell you. Creeping up.
Kelsey's on fire.
What is one way ASN Engage is committing to continuous improvement?
All right, yes, everyone got that right. But if anyone has the plug to going to outer space, I'll definitely go with you.
I will not be partaking in that adventure. Thank you.
Nope.
Space is way less scary than the ocean.
Mm. Oh, what is an example of qualitative data?
Qualitative, not quantitative.
Be giving out hints.
Okay, surveys are a quantitative because it's measuring numbers.
Yes.
I guess
Whereas-
in some ways surveys could also be qualitative though, if they have a verbal kind of response portion or written response. Yes and no.
I took a class in college about like qualitative and quantitative data or something. That is why I knew this answer.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, Fonzo's making a comeback. All right, you
All
guys.
right.
There you
We're
go,
going down
Fonzo.
to the limit.
Where do you put activity pictures?
Nice, everyone got that right. Okay. Last question. If you're gonna win, you gotta win on this one.
People on my team, you guys got this.
Where can you find your average daily attendance for programming? Kelsey's got a thumbs up. She's like, oh, I got this.
City span. Yes. If you want to see your average daily attendance or your ADA, you want to pull a report, you can get that off of City Span. Let's see who the winner is. Woo, Willie
Yay,
entered.
Willie.
Woo, Marie and
Marie.
Taka.
Else.
And Kelsey
Barring the one
wins.
Yeah.
question she just didn't answer. Wow, 13 out of 14.
My team
Great.
representing.
Okay.
Shout out to Vanessa and Tanya for being the runners up.
All right, Kelsey, ask Mike when he gets back from vacation what your prize is, because that's on him.
Really hype it up. Be like, we were promised something big,
Yeah.
very exciting.
All right,
Thanks,
great
Dylan.
job, everyone.
Hey, actually,
Love to
I have a
play
question.
games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you guys aware of what can and can't be purchased? Like,
Yes.
okay. Question, can kids get like a snack pack from Amazon, or is that still considered food? No. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I had sent an email to Michael and I didn't get a response. And so you saying that, and he was like, oh, I remember, and it was about prizes. And I was like,
No, food unfortunately is not allowable as a purchase. It's for the cooking program itself.
Karina, can you share the last screen of the PDF? Mine doesn't open.
Sure. And you want me to just go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I feel like my computer's being weird.
Sure. And just as a baseline, since you said that, Kelsey, just a reminder, I'm sure everyone's probably sent Mike at least one email by now, probably. Just as a baseline, it's probably safe to also CC your program manager at the same time in case someone's missing or not, so that there's at least one other person kind of accountable for those emails and stuff, so that we can help you in a timely way. All right, let's get there then. I definitely have the PowerPoint ready to go. Here we go.
Yes, Willie, question.
So I know Mike is on vacation right now, but if we have like a last minute order that we'd like to make really quickly, can I send it to one of y'all or?
Send it to Corey.
Yep, CC Mike, and then also just send it to Corey and make sure that you fill out, right, Corey, order form?
Yep.
All right.
Just for a preemptive thing, I'm going to resend the order form and the instructions to everybody.
We can send in the, does that work to send it in the follow-up email? Is
Yeah.
that, Willie, do you need it like today? Okay, Corey can send it then. All right, awesome.
Corey,
Shall I go
did you
to
get my email?
Yes, we did, Deshaun. I do have it.
Yeah, it's small.
We got
Come
you, we got
on.
you, we got you.
Had to
We
make
hear
some
you.
mess, but I got you covered.
All right, I'm gonna go to the last page there, but I have to. Thanks, everyone, for holding through here.
All right. So we've been looking at the exit slips after the last 2 PDs, and only like 3 people did them. And I get it. It's like you're like, oh, I just finished a PD. I don't want to do an exit slip, but it really does help us improve. Like if you're like, oh, this was the wackest PD I ever been to, like we want to know that so we can make some changes. Or if you were like, I didn't know any of these things, or you never told me that, like this would be another reason to do that. So we are going to do our exit slip right now, so then everyone can do it, and it's built in the time of the PD. So you don't have to do it after it's done. And while you are doing that, we really want you to reflect and think about this question, which is, what is one way your program manager, so me, Corey, or Karina, or someone in your school administrative staff can help you in managing data? So when you guys think of the answer to that question, email your program manager that. Please have your answer by Monday. And really it's just to help you. So like if you're like, we just went over this training, like I think I got this stuff down, but like I'm still have some questions about this thing, or like I think I'm gonna need help getting student GPA because my registrar is a challenge. Like that's something that we want to know so we can know going into fall what ways we can support you around data and just to make your lives easier.
Yeah, especially as we lead up into those meetings that we let you know about a little bit earlier, about those kind of MOU meetings with your administration and anybody else who might be important for fall planning. This would be a really informative question so that we can help support you and get what you all need. So I put the exit slip in the chat. Hopefully it works. Can everyone get it? Nodding, thumbs up. Great, cool. Okay. And but after, what do you think the thing is? Should when they're done with their PD exit slip, they can go ahead and hop off or stay on if they want to
I
ask
was gonna
more
say,
questions?
well, yeah, if you're done and you're like, I don't have any questions, you are free to hop off. Look at that, you get 14 minutes back in your day, because we're all about efficiency over here. If you have a question, obviously stay on, but thank you guys for coming. Hope you learned something. Or if everything was a review, thanks for sitting through it. But anyways, just really thank you guys. I know it's hard in the summer to do late meetings, but I want you guys to all have a good weekend and get into some water because it's going to be 100 degrees on Sunday.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll be sending a follow-up email as well, probably by tomorrow.
Yeah, with all the information. But yeah, have a great weekend, everyone, and thanks for filling out the
you.
exit slip.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.